Get your child to listen to you without yelling or working your emotions up. My name is Wendy Ologa. I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. I'm going to teach you, number one, why your child is not listening. Number two, how to get them to listen. And the interesting thing is, you're going to be able to leave this session with some tangible information on how to apply these principles as soon as I'm done with this conversation. If you're just joining me, you can see me live. Please put a comment in the comment section. Whoa, 21 people watching already. Put your comment in the comment section. Can tell me where you are streaming live from. Now, why your child is not listening? Let's start with that. My child is not listening. That's a very key information or key complaint that I get on my desk almost on a daily basis. Oh, coach, why is it that my child is not listening? Now, this is what might be happening. Now, any of this might be the reason why your child isn't listening. Number one, you might be talking too much. You might be talking too much. You might have been talking nagging. Now, nagging makes a child actually tune off. Not just a child, anybody at all. All right? Anybody who is, nagging, you would find out that the people at the time just tunes off from what, it is that they're having. Thank you so much for joining me live. I see you all sharing where you're joining from UK, from Germany, from Manchester. I see you guys. Thank you for joining me from Uyo, from Lagos, and all of the rest of the places. Please remember to invite your friends and your family. This is going to be one hot topic that you want to listen to. All right. Now, when you begin to nag, naturally the human brain is created to tune off. So it's not just your child. You also realize that when your spouse, for instance, you're putting a lot of stuff with your spouse, you find out that your spouse would just tune off. And then you just say, he's always nagging. He's always nagging. You're tired. Now, talking is when you talk and talk and talk and talk, the brain shuts down. Now, like if you want to explain, like a child does something, you want to explain to the child why you needed to, discipline them or, give them the consequences. You would talk and talk and then turn it to a sermon. All right. The moment you move from that to a sermon, of course, the child tunes off. This could be the reason. Another reason could be that the instructions are not simple enough. So you might just be talking too much. You're giving instructions. They are not as simple. The child can't really grasp them because, it's just a lot. Somewhere in your adult mind, you actually think that, oh, why can't they just, get it? And all of that, that could be a reason. Number two reason, all right, is that you might not be sharing with your child using their learning style. I'm going to give a little bit of insight when it comes to learning styles. Now, every single one of us interact with other people learning with our dominant learning style. What are learning styles? These are the dominant ways we would learn as a human being. Now, some of us are auditory, some of us are visual, some of us are kinesthetic learners. Now, if you're speaking to a child who is dominantly a kinesthetic learner and you're talking a lot, the child shuts down because primarily that child learns by doing. Because that's what a kinesthetic learner is. They learn by the things that they do. All right? It's very important that you need to understand how your child learns. Many of the times we find out that we teach primarily by how we learn. So if you are an auditory person, you like to listen, you find out that that's where you will be very akin to if you're not intentional about it. For those of us who are teachers, we've been able to learn to teach using the visual, using the auditory. I am a core auditory learner, can listen a lot. My visual is not as strong as my auditory part. So I can just, do that. And there are children that when you're talking to them, you're giving instructions, for instance, they're not listening to you, they're looking at you. They're looking at what you're wearing. They're looking at the thing that is on your teeth. They're looking at your lipstick. They're looking at, different things because they are dominantly visual. Now, how do you even know what kind of learning style your child has? We have a course called the Understanding Your Child's Learning Style. It comes up sometime in April, or so. When it comes up, I'm going to share about that. But that's not what this conversation is about for today. Now, understanding your child, you can get our guide, Understanding Your Child's Learning Style, can guide you for now until you take that course. Now, understanding how your child learns will give you a leverage. I'm going to share a vivid example of myself, personal experience. My son, he's a teenager today, was actually or is a dominant kinesthetic learner. Now, that's also one of the reasons why a lot of children are said not to do well in school, because the kind of learning style that they have. Dominant kinesthetic learners have issues in the kind of setting in the school that we have today. So, I remember that you give instructions. My daughter is, an auditory learner. You find out that she runs with it so easily, and they are a set of twins. Of course, as a parent, you realize that you are tempted to compare, because you are tempted to see, why is it that your sister can hear what I've been saying and you, on the other hand, cannot hear it? There's that temptation there. But intentionality gets you to the point where you understand things and you are not tempted. You're not tempted to, to say things that you shouldn't say or compare your children. When I started learning about them and the learning style and the things, I started to now help my son to get, to listen using his dominant learning style, which also took him from, where he was to being a star student as well, just because I was able to understand that part of him. So learning style is so key. So when you're giving those instructions, you're going to struggle if you do not understand how to learn. So when I want to give instructions to my set of twins, I give a different kind of instruction to my daughter. Can I share the same instruction differently to our son? Because our son learns by doing. I need to incorporate a lot of things to actually be able to teach him. Number C, right? Your child has attention span issues. This might be another reason why your child is not listening. These days, we're having more and more children who are becoming autistic because of screen. We call it screen autism. If you're still here listening to me, let me see your comment in the comment section. And let me see that you have tagged someone and also shared this on your story. Take screenshots, share on your story, invite your friends, because you might be saving a life just by sharing this on your story. Now, your child might be having attention span issues. Is anybody helping us scribe? I have written how many? 1, you might be talking too much. 2, you might not be sharing using your child's dominant learning style. Please write, all right? If you write, I'm going to know that you're here. Write, do not just sit. Write in the comment section, okay? Yes, and number 3, your child has short, attention span issues. Yeah, attention span issues, all right? So somebody should write, the 3 for us. So when people come live, they can also just get the point that we have mentioned before. I know that you're with me. I can see you, almost 50 people watching. But I need you to be as interactive as well. All right? So yes, you might be talking too much. You might be sharing, you might not be sharing using your child's learning style. And your child might have attention span issues. Now, if you also hear a word that resonates with you, please put it in the comment section and share your favorite emojis as well. All right? I like to see that the people I'm teaching also have interacting a lot. Now, your child might have attention span issues, and I was saying that your child, okay, your child, I've written 3, and the people didn't get the second one. You might be sharing using your child's, you might not be sharing using your child's learning style. Learning style can be a problem, okay? Then 3, I said your child has attention span issues. Now, when we talk about attention span issues, I was talking about, thank you so much, Grip by Grace. This is great, all right? I was talking about attention span. I was talking about screen autism. Now, quite a number of us, okay, are having children who are becoming autistic, all right, becoming autistic because of the screen. Now, because we don't even understand what the screen can do to our young children, we're putting them on the screen. Now, one of the very core things that happen in the academy, the Intentional Parent Academy, which is the Inner Circle program, which is our flagship program in the academy, is an annual program that takes you from day 1 of December 1st to the next day. All right, very important. Okay, yes, the video will be saved. Okay, Prince T, and you find out that these children, one of the things I say to them when you come into the academy is that your child can't do screen the way your child will do screen. In fact, if your child is less than 18, your child have no business watching the screen, less than 18 months. And then when they turn 18 months, they come 2 years, you can now start introducing screen in trickles. But unfortunately, what you find today is that all our children can press our phones, true or false. Sometimes people ask me, you're in a group, there are different kinds of chatters from a baby, and people say, oh, sorry, it's my children. I can't fit it in because my children don't pick my phone. It never ever does happen. All right, it is not because I said it. No, it's because they've been trained to understand it. Now, I had toddlers. They had no business with my phone. You pick my phone, I tell you, no, it's not a toy. I drop it, and then I bring a toy for you. So you're putting your children on the screen. The screen includes your smartphones. You're putting your children on the screen all day, all time. You get tired. The screen becomes a nanny for you. You're creating a child who's going to have attention span issues. That's what's going to happen. So your child is going to struggle when they become older. And then you get to a point, you're not always screaming, they're not listening to me, these children don't hear me. You have created it. You have created it. You can raise your children not to have business with your smartphone. They would understand it. All right. Number 2, you can raise your children to use screen purposefully, not the screen using them. Now, what we do with even our toddlers is that you say, oh no, I'm busy, I don't have a help. You put your child in front of the TV, and then you go cooking, and then your toddler is in front of TV. You say, the child is really learning attention. The child doesn't learn no attention on the screen. Instead, the brain actually decreases. The gray matter in the brain actually begins to decrease, which is the problem. And that's the learning center. So when it comes to, learning and the screen, you begin to see that a lot of children are now suffering. Now we are getting information or result of a lot of screen autism today. Autism, not even people don't even know that screen, can cause that. And research has shown that more children are becoming autistic. More children are becoming autistic just because of the screen. So if there's anything that you want to do now, is you want to actually begin to look at short attention span, because it will cause your children not to listen. You're going to have behavioral issues eventually. The moment your child's attention span, is short, it becomes a problem. And now what the screen does is that it shuts down the learning center, it affects the learning center, and then your children cram. So it looks like your child is learning. No, the brain is a mini-making machine. The brain doesn't learn from the screen. The screen only replicates. Now, that's why, I say all the time, right? The things, right? Your children, the skills your children will need to survive in the 21st century is not on the screen. Because your children will need to, all right? We need to navigate. You need to be imaginative. You need to create. If your children cannot create, then you're raising a zombie. You're raising someone who will only, all right, you're raising someone who will only consume. Yeah, any kind of screen, and online teaching and all of that, trust me, the effect is heavy. And many times when parents come to us, they're like, it's not, now. You don't say it now. When the behavioral issues, begin to show, you begin to say it. All right? I hope you're having a good time and learning something new. Tag a friend, share on your story. Do not miss that. Yesterday, I shared a post, right, on this, on our handle. All right? And I've been saying this for a long time. A psychologist, a world-renowned psychologist, Dr. Shafali, had said before that, all you need to do is to manage your children's time. Her child was 12 and she gave her child a smartphone. I remember, saying vividly to the parents that I coach, the effect is not now, it's later. And then yesterday she shared a video and she said one of her biggest parenting regrets is giving her child a smartphone at 12. I smiled. The longer you can wait to actually allow the brain to create, the better your child would actually be able to make impact. So what you do when your children are constantly consuming the screen is that you kill their attention span, you kill the creativity, and you also kill the ability to imagine. The moment someone cannot imagine, the moment you can't imagine, you can't think, then it is you're producing. So what we're doing, like she said in that video, what we're doing is that we are producing childhood. We should never produce childhood. The screen produces childhood. Now, childhood is produced. Childhood is, we're putting people on the screen. We're creating it. Meanwhile, childhood should be something that these children, live fully, not something that is imported. We're creating, all of these things and putting it up. Oh yes, a lot of children are autistic today, and the way they throw tantrums, is worrisome, because these children are not learning. They're not learning. We're producing their childhood. It's like a production house. So they're not really being able to. So the screen is killing the brain system of these children. The later a child accesses all of these things, smartphones, smart whatever, you think it's style. I see a lot of parents, my children have iPads, they have TV in their home. Something happened yesterday. Someone was supposed to come and do a connection in our home, and where the person was trying to say, also there's going to be a cable here, and then the rooms would have. We said no. The only places that's going to have a TV here is the rooms, the sitting rooms. And that's the only place, because that's how our family run. Some of you have TVs in your children's room, you have iPads for them, because that's what keeps them calm, all right? That's what keeps them calm according to you. So when you put that screen forward, of course, every parent who is an inner circle parent understands exactly what I'm teaching. We're constantly on this. One of the first things you do when you get into the academy is that you create a media plan. You create, how the media plan can work in your home. Part of our media plan is there is no screen anywhere else apart from the common areas. So you need to get to the point where you intentionally see the way the screens are today. If you don't intentionally create these systems, your children will be drowned in it. And it will shock you. Your children are losing. I'm taking my time to talk about short attention span. It will shock you that your children are losing attention span. You're constantly yelling, you're constantly screaming. You don't even know that some of the things that is happening is, the things that you have done. If you're not in the inner circle, thank you so much, Kigoluwa, for that. If you're not in the inner circle, it's not even an option anymore not to be in the academy. It's not an option. So if you're parenting, in that place, you're parenting on you're parenting by fluke. You're parenting by, I'm just, I'm putting all of this in. It's just intuition. If you're still parenting on intuition, then you're going to make a lot of mistakes. I have seen parents, when they get into the inner circle, it happens that, the team will share with you how you can get in, all right? When they get into the inner circle, you happen to see that you happen to see that, they've made a lot of mistakes and it has affected most of the things that they are doing. It's a big deal. Parenting is a big deal. It can no longer be the way you're winging it and the way you just want to. There are a lot of things that you don't know, and that's what pains me a lot of the times, because when parents come, to us, and it's become a case of scarred, systems. All right, it becomes a problem. Now the inner circle is 70,000 naira per year. You will be able to join the 2024 level. So you can book a slot, 5,000 naira. There's a link in bio. You can book a slot for 5,000 naira and pay your fee before we start the 1st of December of this year. That's the next cohort. The other cohort is already running, and I tell you, we've done so much. We've done almost 2 months, and running. There's just so much for you to pick up, all right? And there's so much for you to learn. Let's move on. The next reason why your child is not learning, I've talked about attention span a lot. So if your child's attention span is cut short, then your child will probably not listen to you enough. Now, another reason why your child isn't learning is because you're ordering or begging them. Now, one of the things that I see parents do is when we say, oh, somebody said the waiting is killing her. I'm so sorry. When we say, oh, that by the way, for those of who are asking, about the waiting and all of that, please, you can join our short courses. There's one coming up next month. You can join while you're waiting. All right. So how long does it? The inner circle is 1 year. Okay, it's a 1-year program. It starts every 1st December of every year. But the best thing that will happen to you will be to book a slot now, and that's one of the best things that have happened to many parents that I've met. Okay, but while you're waiting, join the emotional intelligence course. Is going to really be a blessing for you. Now, you are ordering or begging them. Two extremes. All right. Somebody said we can catch up. Do you think you can catch up? If you think you can catch up, send me a DM. All right, we'll talk about that after this session. Okay, please wait. Is worth it. I waited throughout 2022. You see Kekolua. Okay, so let's move. You're ordering or begging them. See, when you parent and you are either an authoritarian parent, or you are a permissive parent, these are two extremes that will make a mess of your child. I'll tell you why. They will likely yield the same result. Both of them will yield the same result. Trust me. Both ordering and begging. So some parents come to us, they are listening to us, and they just listen. Oh, coach, I saw one coach on IG. She said, oh, you should not order your children, you should not scream at them, you should not yell at them, and then you go, and then you're begging them. The same thing. And that's why I warn, do not copy display. What we are sharing with you here on social media is display. Get into the academy, take the course, take the emotional, intelligent course, and it's going to really, really help you. All right. So you're ordering or begging them. When you order, your child, there's a tendency to resist. All right. So they won't listen. When you beg, there's a tendency of that means it's I just have an option. I should or shouldn't do it. You become beggarly. Sometimes I see parents who are raising their children, and most of the times these children are you're begging these children to do the things that they should do, and I can't get it. As in, I cannot put it together. Like, really? There is a discipline that works, and discipline is not you being permissive. That's not what we're teaching. Neither is it you being a tyrant. That's not what we're teaching. The other day, my daughter said to me, Mom, you're very firm, yet you're very kind. I just laughed. I said, you're going to do what you're supposed to do. So it's not, you don't do it by fight. Neither do you achieve it by yelling. There is a way. All right? I like quoting that scripture. There is a way there is a way, the way of the foolish wearieth them, because they do not know how to get to the city. There is a way to the city. So I wrote this book, The Discipline That Works. This will help you to understand what I'm saying about begging and ordering and how that doesn't help you, all right? There's so many other books that I've written that would also help you. The next one is that you are inconsistent with your strategies. Your strategies are inconsistent. You're neither here nor there. Today, when your child does something wrong, you tell them, there's a consequence for it. Sit down here and never talk, or don't join this, or do that. Tomorrow, the same child does another thing. You just say, it's just okay, and you're inconsistent. See, unpredictability is a terrible thing in parenting. And yet, I see many parents say to me, you won't brag with it. You won't brag with it. I'm very unpredictable. Children don't learn by inconsistency. Never. I'm very unpredictable. My children do not even know what I will do next. What a failure. If you are unpredictable, your strategies are inconsistent, trust me, your children would struggle. And you will struggle with them not listening. And every time when that happens, you're going to just be, why is it like this and all of that? Do not parent with this unpredictability. Oh, my children don't even know how I will react when they do this thing. You brag with it. It's a terrible thing. Please don't use it. All right? If your systems are going to work, then they must be structured and predictable. Your children should be able to say, this is exactly what it is that can happen if this happens in my home. That's what accountability system is about. It's not, I don't really know. Today we react. Today you say, it's okay. Your children get confused with unpredictability. So there's no structure. There are no systems. If you're still parenting without structures and systems, yours is your own. 2,500 parents have moved. You're still on your own. When I tell people about the academy, I tell them it's no longer a request. It's no longer, we're begging you to join the academy. No. If you're not in a system that structures to help you build a curriculum, around your parenting, you're on a long thing. And unfortunately, if you do not do the time now, you will do the time later. Either way, you pay the price. Either way, there is no escape. Either way, all right? It is very important that we begin to pay attention to our parenting. The next one, why they are not listening, is that you're criticizing. You're criticizing. You say things like, I don't know why you will not ever listen to me. See, the brain, how the brain works is that when there are too much, if you are routinely negative to someone, to the brain is created to actually block off negativity. See, if you don't block off negativity, the brain doesn't block off negativity, you will die. The system will kill you. So it's the same way. Anything that seems like a negative, coming to the brain shuts it down. So you are routinely criticizing, you're routinely negative. Your parenting is full of criticism, full of commands, full of condemnations, full of judgment, no conversations, no communications, no connections. That's a recipe for disaster in parenting. So you're constantly criticizing, why won't you guys listen in this house? You think is a good thing. You say, that's how my parents did it. The flip side is that the things that your children are exposed to in today's world, it's not the same thing your parents are exposed to. Somebody sent me a chart and said to me that since her son went to the US to school, he left home today, and in the next 2 days, they saw his Instagram post. He had colored hair, he wore earrings, he had dreads, and the parents were really worried. And I asked them, did he come home last Christmas? They said no, he didn't. Why? Because he had a lot to do. And then I said to them, this child has run away from you guys. This is rebelling. If you do not pay the price, now they're running kitty, they're running kata. They've paid for 10 sessions. We need to have sessions and sessions. I know how much each session costs them. You don't need to do that. If they have created a connection with this guy, you don't need to come and we like fire brigade approach, where we're kitty. You've put up a system of criticism, and the brain shuts down, and then you're complaining. You can't complain. Criticisms is not instruction. When you say, why don't you guys listen? That's not instruction, neither is it teaching. You're not teaching anything. The brain just tunes off. That's all that matters, to the brain at that, because the brain is working to protect the owner. That's what the brain does at that time. The brain is working to protect the person. Now, how do I get my children to listen? This has been a fireful class. If you're here and you've been listening to me from the beginning, let me see you share the emojis, all right? Let me see you share the emojis, and let me see you say that you have tagged someone. Tag someone here. Now, that's a price that you're paying, yes? Tag someone here so that they come and listen and also hear what it is that you are hearing. Share on your story, tag us. Let people, come to learn. If people, when it said that it takes a village, trust me, this is what it means. It takes a village means carrying along the people in your circle to learn the things that you're learning. That's what it takes a village means. So you need to carry along the people. Carry along the people. If you don't carry along the people, you're going to struggle still. One of the reasons why I started teaching parenting, doing it publicly, was because I continue to do things with my children. My children are this, they are that, and this. And then I realized the people around me, there was a problem. Both family and friends, both in school and all of that. And, I started to have a rethink. And I started to passionately teach it. Because if I train my children and they are all perfect, they're going to live in a world full of people who are not raised intentionally. So this is why the intentional parent is a movement. It's not a course. It's a movement. It's a movement. It's for the world where we're moving, at a thunderlight space. Because I have an understanding that if we don't, then I usually say that our generation, will be the last generation to be able to make a mark in Africa, to change the tides of things in Africa. No government will change any tide of things. It's how we raise people. That's what is going to change the tides of things. If we don't begin to raise people differently, the same story we have told this year's election is the same story we're going to tell the next election. I watched the video, and that video was a priest telling people, so who are you going to vote? And everybody raised up, and said, oh, they have voting stuff and all of that. And they said, do you wish the character of the person you are voting for your child? He said 80% of the church raised down their hands. Hands started going down. Because you cannot understand that we want to vote people whose character do not align to our values, but yet we want to do that. What do you think has happened? The way we've been raised. There's a problem with our upbringing. It's as simple as that. And the earlier we understand it and remedy it, the better for every single one of us. We have a problem. We have a problem at hand, and we need to solve it. And how do we solve it? Parenting. Parenting. That might be the biggest singular thing that you ever did in your life. Raising someone who is better. How do I get my children to listen? Now, I've shared with you why your children might not be listening. Number one, the chief of them all, you need to work on your emotions. There is no effective communication without emotional management. Somebody help me write that right in the comment section. There is no emotions control. There is no effective communication without emotions management. If you cannot manage your emotions, you are a bad communicator. If you're a yelling parent, you are a bad communicator. If you're a beating parent, you're a bad communicator. Thank you so much, ma'am. If you are a bad communicator. So all these, that's how they raised me. I need to yell so that I can know. You don't need to yell to be listened to. The moment you need to raise your voice to your children to assert that they need to hear you, then there is something wrong with it. And then when you begin to move to the point where you would say things like, don't you know I'm your father? Then that's a failed parenting system in its own. You don't need to remind your child that you are the father. The moment you begin to say, don't you know I carried you for 9 months? There is something wrong with your parent. That's emotional blackmail. That's not emotional management. So you need to learn how to communicate. The reason you're yelling is because you have an F9 in communication. You need to learn how to communicate. And that's because your emotions are not intact. Your emotions are not put together. You need to put your emotions in place. And how do you begin to put your emotions in place? Please take courses. Take courses. Yes, the video will be saved and you can also catch replay on our YouTube channel. Take courses. All right? We're opening the Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent course. All of you that are saying, oh, Inner Circle, I didn't start with this one. See, I said yesterday at our Tuesday live that emotional intelligence is at the core. Is at the core of what we do as a human being. The difference between you and an animal is that an animal cannot manage their emotions. All right? Take courses. Take a look at the screen. If you look at the screen, you will see pinned details of the course, the emotional intelligence course. In fact, that's one of the things that can change your life. Yeah, it changed my life. So I've not always been like this. Let me also tell you, so that you're not thinking, why she just has a perfect life. Oh, everything seems perfect. No way. This is also someone coming from the place he was also raised by the kind of parents we were all raised with. All right, a little bit different maybe. Yes, my parents were a little bit more exposed on a lot of things. Yes, but the same, inability to manage emotions. My father had an issue managing his emotions. And of course, when I became a parent, I struggled with it. But the moment I realized that it was my business, I sorted that out, and it's been the best decision that I have ever made in my life. 10 years running, I have become a student of emotional intelligence, and I'm able to actually navigate even my relationships. The problem with, emotional intelligence is that emotions are powerful. They determine how you interact with people. They determine how you interact with people. All right? They determine how much money you spend. They determine how you deal with your challenges. They determine how much of your time you spend. They even determine how you take care of yourself. There are too many things that are around, emotional intelligence. All right? So, all right. So you would see the screen. All right? There's also a link. There's a link in bio to show you, all right, how to register for this course. You're confused, simply send us a chat. And I think there's a number, right? There's a number that is pinned. Please send a chat to that number and you can get all of the details. It's 15,500 now. That's an early bird offer. The cost of the price of the course is 20,500. If you miss this early bird by Monday, it goes up and then you are going to be paying more. All right? Even if you pay 50,000 for this course, you will be grateful. I know that like I know my name. All right? We only share value. And hey, a lot of people say, oh, when you get into the, into the class, what will be the expectation and all of that? Keep your expectations, drop it, you have none. All right? TIP is the expectation. We teach you things that you haven't even thought is relevant. And you'll see how they transform your life, your parenting journey, and the tangibility that they bring you. So the next thing that you want to do is to create a listening system in your home. I'm not going to be able to go through a lot of details about listening system. If you're a parent in the inner circle, you already understand what it means to create a listening system in your home. But the first place to creating a listening system is you being able to listen to your child. Let me now say this. As many behaviors your child will learn as much as possible will be learned from modeling. Now, how do you model listening? A lot of us will say, no, me, I'm listening. Oh, why is your child not listening? Many times it's because you're not listening. I tell you why. Your child is talking to you. Let me give you a very vivid example. You're on your phone. The child is talking and say, and then tomorrow you now come and complain, my children don't listen. Do you listen? You don't. The first thing you want to do is listen to your child. When they are blabbing, when they are drop, whatever you're doing, and listen to them. We did the listening system and also creative solving for family problems through communication in the inner circle. And of course, time will not even permit me. It's a whole 1 hour 30 minutes webinar. Of course, if you want to get courses like that are in depth, of course you want to get into the course, all right, get into the emotional intelligence course. Is going to help you a lot. Then the next thing you want to do when it comes to listening to your child, listening system, is make it a habit to listen empathically and not just attentively. They're not the same thing. Listening empathically means that you are putting yourself in the shoes of the person who is sharing with you. Listening attentively means that you're there and you're not connected. How do you listen empathically? You need to connect. That's how you listen empathically. So you need to start connecting and not just correcting. So my book, one of my very first books, we're reading it in the Inner Circle this month, it's called Connect to Correct. Without connection, there is no correction. Any connection, any correction you do without connection will turn to rebellion. It will turn to a child who wouldn't listen. Or it will turn to a hypocritical child. Or it will just turn to a child who is a recluse. And the best. So your child will just recoil and just do whatever it is that you want. You know, what we call in the Inner Circle the foolish virgin. My child is good, my child is good. And many of the times, that's who we want to raise. We want to raise a good child. An unskilled good child. Goodness is not a skill. Goodness is just a form of being, it's not a skill. So raising a good child is not the aim of parenting. Raising a skilled child who would impact is the real aim of parenting. All right. Another thing you want to do in creating this is listen to your spouse. Most of us don't listen to our spouse. Our spouses are talking. You're like, I beg. But you're screaming that the child is not listening. Very hypocritical. We are parents are very hypocritical. And you know the thing, your children can see this hypocrisy. All right. The next one you want to do is that you need to investigate on the cause behind the behaviors. Why your child is not listening? Investigate. Ask questions. Why is my child not listening? What's happening? What's happening to my child? Why is my child not listening to me? Blah blah blah, and all of the things. All right, that you need to put together. Why is my child not listening? I have we're creating a free guide. You'll get a copy of that free guide tomorrow. We're making it public for everybody so that you can also read on how to create. How to get your child to listen without yelling. All right, the team is going to build that. The next one is you need to build skills. Many times our children can't listen, can't deliver because they are unskilled. You know, I said just now that goodness is not a skill. Goodness is just a state of being. So your child can be good and yet frustrate you. The reasons are simple. What makes you exceptional, different, is skills. And many times we're raising children who are unskilled in the name of, I just want an obedient child. I just want my child to just listen to me. I just want my child to just listen to me. I say that an unskilled child is a burden to you, the parent, to themselves, the child, and to the society at large. Everything, to the society at large. An unskilled child is a terrible mix. It will wear you out. And I see a lot of us raising children who are unskilled in the name of, using the cane. Most of the children that were beaten, I've done my analysis, are unskilled. Terribly unskilled. Your children can't do nothing. You have 13-year-olds who cannot do nothing. They become a burden to you rather than being a blessing. Wherever you are, your teenagers, you need to run and come and cook and come and do things for them. Because you'll be weary. And then you're complaining that they can't listen because they do not have, a system of responsibility. Another reason why your children are not listening is because you have not built, responsibility, accountability, and dedication around your parenting. Many times I hear parents say, they are just children. Children are not responsible at all. Responsibility is a skill. We're constantly bailing our children out of responsibility. Something happens, you wield the cane, you beat your child, and then take your child out of the responsibility of taking responsibility for their actions. And unfortunately, that kills your child. I have a word that I pay fees for, and comes to me recently and then did something, wanted to write exams in a super center, all of those things that they do, and comes to me and wants me to pay for it. I said I wasn't going to do that. It's against my values, against my policies, and I'm not going to put my money in any, fraudulent exam centers and all of that. And then, he goes begging, oh, please, that because his own school, they've closed down registration for WAEC. So it means that he's going to miss the WAEC. I said, that's it. That's the responsibility. You will take responsibility for your actions. It may sound like, but what you do as a parent is that you will pay the money and say, let it not be that you will not flog him. And say, next time, don't ever think, say, let it not be that you will not miss but let him just go there and write. Do you know what you have done? You have created an irresponsible person who will never be accountable for the decisions that they make. So now he's going to miss to write work, he's going to write it next year. And I'm glad, very glad. My emotions intact, all together. I remember my son forgetting his project. And then he calls and, we've reminded him, oh, this project needs to go to school and all of that. And then he calls, I was in the meeting and says, oh, Dad, can you help me? Oh, bring this thing. And my husband says, oh, I'm in a meeting. And then he says, oh, can you send the driver? My husband said, no, I'm in a meeting, I can't. And my driver can't move. What's the problem? Oh, I forgot my project. And if I don't submit it today, I'm going to score a 0. My husband said, oh, that's fine. It's fine. Why are you afraid of your children failing? I've never been able to understand it. I don't get it. Your child fails a hassle, they will learn. And then my mama said, oh, that's fine. You can score a 0. It's very fine. Awesome. And that was a big lesson for our son. From that day, our son has been able to take responsibility for his things, his actions. He knows that nobody is going to come and beg him. And we're not afraid. We say, oh, no problem. If you fail an exam, you write another one. It's our responsibility to pay your fees. It's not my responsibility to write your exams. Why are you fidgeting? Your children are writing exams. They're going to fail. You're fidgeting everywhere. What's that? What's that? You are so afraid. And in that fear, you make decisions that ruin your children. So how can they listen when you've not built responsibility around them, when you're not consistent, you've not built dedication? Another one is dedication. You've not built any dedication skill. How do you build dedication skill? Something is happening in your home, and your children have the option of leaving it and not finishing it. There's a slogan in the inner circle: we finish what we start. You can't start something and not finish it. You're already raising a child who thinks that, oh, I can do this because it's difficult. I just leave it. When something is difficult for me, I just leave it and I walk away. That's why people walk away from things they should be dedicated to. Marriages, relationships, jobs. Now, young people, I run an organization where young people, employed. And sometimes you see a young person, you say, I'm just tired of working. That's why. I'm like, really? Because we're not raising children who understand dedication. It's a problem. It's a real challenge. And these are coming because of the little things that we are, doing. Small things we're doing. Your child started the puzzle. He said, hey, don't pack it up. It's okay. Many times when I hear, a lot of, conversation from parents and some of the things that you share on social media, and I laugh. You're creating people who will become irresponsible, unaccountable, undedicated tomorrow to anything. Because it's not just about parenting, to anything, eventually, to anything. All right? It is important that you begin to look at problem, all right? Holistically. The problem is everywhere, it's glaring. The people we're raising today are not resilient for anything. They want everything, they walk in the park because we've created a world of no failure. You buy your way through. You buy your way through your children's exams. Oh, recently in the inner circle, a parent's child was accused of touching a girl indiscriminately that was an accusation according to them. And then, of course, they suspended him. And the parent came to me and said, oh, coach, what do I do? Do I, let me remove this child from the school. There will be so much shame. I told her, I said, if you remove this child, he's not going to learn the lesson. I said, this child is going to go through that school. He will be fine. But we will supply you with tools to ensure that you create the stability for him while he's going through. He went back to school. He struggled in the first week, second week, third week, first month. He struggled all through the term. He did so badly. Of course, there are a lot of it. He struggled the second term. By the time this guy was coming out of second term and third term, his result was better. He made a parallel 100. His result was better than anybody that have ever submitted the result in that school ever. Ever. See, the truth of the matter is that many of the parents, what you would have done is to bring that child back and say, hey, they accused my child, they did it. You just, tell the child and tell the child, you know what? You don't need to go there again. What if the child was lying to you? And the child actually really did it. And then eventually that guy came out superstar. Superstar. Complete superstar. But many parents would have beaten him, then taken him out of the school. Why would a child do something and you're bailing the child out? Another parent sent me a child a parent in a session. She had the child was accused of malpractice. And then the child was told to go on suspension. She went and flogged the child, took the child back to school and begged the school, if he goes on malpractice on the suspension, he will miss a part of his work. And I'm wondering, I don't understand. As in, so he will miss it and then what will happen? Is a lifeline, as in, he's supposed to go to heaven with it. He will stay at home and go through the suspension for the malpractice. That beating you beat the child is useless. Absolutely useless. Don't kid yourself. And this will be you raising children who cannot thrive. Who cannot thrive. A lot of parents are not even responsible. You're not responsible for your actions. You're not responsible. You're not accountable to anything. You're not dedicated. You can't finish anything. People tell me, my children are not listening. My children are not disciplined. You read the book, this book, you can't finish it. The inability to finish this book is a problem. Shows lack of discipline. So discipline is not that thing that you're doing. It's not that cane that you're wielding. It's not that, jumping up and down and yelling. Discipline is ability to actually stay true to something to the end. Structures. That's what discipline is about. Yet I hear parents, say a lot of the time, I'm a very disciplined parent. Very disciplined, if I hear. There's just a lot in our parenting that we need to work on. I'm going to stop here because my time is well spent. Okay? Now, so the next one, let me just share the last two under how do I get them to listen. Try turning the tables. If your children are not listening, try, telling them that, see, I'm also going to try to show you how not listening feels. That's if you're a listening parent anyway. Get them to say it, and then you see how they react to it. And then the last one, you need to be patient. Parenting is in the mess. I say that a lot to the parents in the inner circle. Parenting is in the mess. If you're not ready to do the mess, you're not ready to do it. It's either you do the mess now or you do it tomorrow. Either way, the mess is waiting for you. The wet is waiting for you. So please, remember, discipline is not how you beat a child or how you're yelling and work on your emotions. That's you being irresponsible. I said it. I'm in my office. Come and beat me, yeah? That's you being irresponsible with your emotions. If you cannot put your emotions together, run. Go and register for this course. The Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent will show you exactly how you can put your emotions in check. Your inability to put your emotions in check is a big deal. Please, let nobody deceive you. Let nobody tell you, that's how our parents did it. After all, we turned out okay. Okay, how? How did we turn out okay? I don't want to even enter that place. Because if I do, then we're not going to live here. All right? Being able to, manage your emotions is a core on your parenting journey. So as I'm speaking to you, go register for the Emotional Intelligent Parent. If you've registered, let me see your comment in the comment section. We have about 603 parents that have already registered for this course. I'm sure, I don't know if these 603 parents are here watching, but if you've registered, it is something that you need to do. All right, put in the comment section that you've registered. If you've not, then you want to go and register now. All right. Okay, we just need to learn. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember that you can always catch replay. Yes, it's going to be on our screen, and then you put it all together. I'm looking for the questions. If you have questions for me, please put it right in the comment section. I see questions. Does it matter what is on the screen? Like, what is if you're tracing numbers and learning letters? It's the same thing. Screen is screen. It doesn't matter what is on the screen. Because I'm on this table, I'm beginning to see the effect on my 5-year-old. Yes, you cannot, the effect is always there, and screen is screen. How do we balance our daily workload with toddlers without so much screen? You need to pay the price now. What do you do? Replace screen. Replace screen. All right? Me and my siblings make up 6 out of the registered people. Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. Replace screen with something else, activities. Your toddlers should not be just, glued on the screen. You are creating a monster that when you come to us, I will charge you money. As in, I will be so glad. But I'm just telling you now so that it will help you. But if you insist that, after all, it's working for me, it's not a problem. You will remember this day and you will come to us when the chips are down, and I will charge you. I'm not afraid of collecting money from anybody. As in, I will charge you with my full chest. Very happy self. And when I charge you the money, I'll go and have some very nice, looking meal on top. So, if you want to do it now, you do it now. If you want to do it later, you do it later. Whatever it is, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. I will not, I'm just a messenger. They call me the parenting prophet. I agree. I'm just your prophet, a parenting prophet to you. And I wish you listen. But if you can't listen, well, I think I've done my bit, all right? I hope that you listen. What kind of toys are good for toddlers? Any toys that will get them to build, on something. When you give them toys, for children who are autistic, do not give them toys that are singing. Those singing toys. If your child has been diagnosed with autism, those singing toys, please seek help so that you know what is required and what should, be and what shouldn't be. Please, all right. You can get them, building blocks, moving cars, things that they can imagine, all right, to work with. What do we replace screen with? Replace it with books, with puzzles, with toys. Replace them. Take out the screen if you care to listen. All right, the effect will come. It will come at you. Hope it's not too late for my 4-year-old because I have stopped. No, it's not too late if you can, begin to replace it. You can. The good thing is that the neuroplasticity, ability of the brain makes the brain, easy to be malleable, especially at that age. So if you're hearing me today, somebody said, did you say we should not watch TV at all? That's not what I said. I'm sure you've listened to me. If you're hearing me today, this is your first time, I beg you, get into the academy. Get into the academy. It's going to save generations. It's going to save your life, save your generations. Please, get into the academy. Get your family members to get in there. It's going to be a whole lot of blessing for you. How do I register? Please just, you will see the, for you to book a slot for the inner circle, I think the team will share the details you need. The inner circle is 70,000 naira per year. The next cohort starts on the 1st of December. We talk about the inner circle all through the year because we don't want people, coming to us to say, we did not hear about the inner circle. They've started. Go and get into the waiting list today and start waiting. You get into the waiting list by paying 5,000 naira booking fee. Your fee is 70,000 naira for now. We are doing a review. That review was supposed to take effect 1st of January this year, but we paused on it. There's going to be a review, and the inner circle program is going to be 100,000 per year. At 100,000 per year, it is hugely discounted. You can't even say how much. When you get into the inner circle, the first thing that happens to you is that the first induction class, you feel, so I only paid this amount. That's the first thing that happens to you. So if you're blown away with what I have shared with you today, imagine what it means getting into any of our courses. Book for the inner circle for 2022, then pay for the emotional intelligence class, and then start from there and start being intentional about your parenting. And then we have books. I have 10 books written by yours truly. There are different titles: Walking Your Child Through Puberty, Resolving Sibling Rivalry, Parenting Launch Plan. We call it the Parenting Manual in the Inner Circle. Raising the independent thinking child. This is one of my latest, and this is one of my favorites. All right, even though people say this is their favorite, connect to correct. And then we have the discipline that works. And then you have sex educate your child like a pro. You're panicking. There is sex education and all of that. There's volume 1 and volume 2. All right. Okay. So if you want to join the inner circle, if you want to, some people have been harassing me. Send me a chat. Or send me a chat on my DM. All right. How to love your child more. That's another book. Then from yelling to calm. I'm just yelling. I'm just how I am. No, it's not. That's not how you are. There's a program in your head that needs to be uninstalled. That's what we do. We uninstall that program and replace it. We don't just uninstall it. We don't just come and tell you, oh, this is not what you should do. We replace it. All right. Now we pay 70K and still wait till December. Yeah, you can pay, and you can pay now. How much is all the books? All the books will cost you 46,500. The 10 of them, you can get them, start reading them. All right. All of the 10 books cost 46,500. All right, 46,500. Please put it in the comment page, 46,500, and then send a chat to you. I'm ready to be part of the family already. Ayaba, Akindele. Yeah, the inner circle is an amazing place to be. Today is my first time of listening to you. Oh, wow. My daughter is 6. Can I still work in the screen time with you? Yes, even if your daughter is 13. I've seen people work with their 13-year-olds, their older children, on some of these issues, and we have massive results. There is even no doubt. I'm not even here to prove anything to you. All right, we have the kind of results we have in the inner circle sounds like a lie. All right, so that's why we have 2,500 people in a course. That's not a course anymore now. That's a movement. Yeah, you agree with me? So of course, our results are very loud, very loud. You can't even be in the inner circle and not have the kind of result that I am talking about. Can I have the list of all the books? Oh, you can get to our books by Wendy Ologe. You will see the list of all the books. All right, and I've also read it out. Is it just for mom? No. It's not just for mothers. It's for parents. You heard me talk about fathers, but in fact, we have father yarders. I say that father yarders will go to heaven, a special place. Me and God has prepared for them. Those fathers in the inner circle give me joy. The way they do the inner circle programs, the way they do the connection tools. Let's not talk about them. So if you're a father, that's a place to be. That's a place to start your leadership systems in your home. You'll be very glad that you did. What child, what age is a child allowed to own an Android phone? This question. Oh my goodness, this question does not have an answer. Go and get the media guide. Work out the media plan in your home and then begin to work it out. Remember to follow our page. Yes, follow and share with your friends to follow us. There's a lot of insight. Inner circle, does it cover couple? No. So the fee, 70,000 is for single people. The couple is 120,000, right? 120,000 for couple. If you're paying when the increment happens, you will pay 150,000 naira for couple, 100,000 naira per individual. So if you're paying for couple, because we want father and mother to be on the journey, it's sweetest when the father and the mother is on the journey together. Trust me, I can assure you. I've done this for 5 years, and I can tell you that the result is massive with the parents together. You alone, your parents is not in tune. Start on your own. Most importantly, do not leave this session doing nothing. Please get in, book a slot for the inner circle, register for the emotional intelligence class. You will be glad that you made this investment on your parenting journey. I'm 5 minutes out of my time, and my team is already eyeing me, so I need to leave so that I can attend to other things. You can always catch replay, share with your family and friends. All right, just watch replay. Even if you're an adult, you want to drop that gadget in your hand more often than before. Oh yes, right? Is it an online course? Because not only, oh, I'm not in Lagos, I'm in Abuja, and our parents are more in the abroad than they are in Nigeria itself. So we have parents all over the world. From Australia, we have people who are not Nigerians, all right, South Africans. I've worked with South African families for the past 5 years, Tanzanian families. We've worked with families from Trinidad and Tobago, families from the US, from Australia, from Canada. So wherever you are, all right, wherever you are. Oh, Kekolua said, I'm in the academy with my husband, the bestest thing. That's just it, all right? Wherever you are, the academy is online. It's online, 100%. Online, 100%. I am in Abuja myself. I'm not in Lagos. By the way, I'm streaming from Abuja. So this will be, you know, an amazing time for you to Ayadas in Lagos, Okocho. Yes, so Titi Lion, there are plenty Yadas in Lagos. We're going to do some kind of, you know, Yadas meetup, you know, during this year, and then we'll talk about that, yeah? When will the diaspora class commence? Oh, the classes are the same. The parents in diaspora are all in the, you know, in the inner circle, all right? We share principles. We don't share Nigerian parents. We share principles, universal principles that have turned families around till tomorrow. So you want to get in there, all right? We'll have a class, you know, for parents in diaspora, you know, that we did in December. You want to get a replay, but that's a separate, you know, class, okay? And then that's different. But the inner circle is a lot more. Of course, it has a heavy curriculum that you don't want to miss. I am so excited. We had 113 people join us live today. Amazing. I had amazing conversation today too. Remember, you can catch replay, and remember to share this link on your stories and invite your family and friends. Hit the follow button and you'll be glad that you did. What age appropriate to educational tablet? No age is appropriate. No age is appropriate, all right? It's not an age factor. As much as you don't give your children screen on time, the more you take out the screen, the more you create a better system, all right? Thank you so much, everybody, and do have an amazing day. Is there a fast track into the inner circle? My name is Prince T. I see you, sir. I love Yada fathers. If you're a father, send me a chat. How can I convince my husband to join? Because it's been a battle for me. Start with you. Start, you know, when you join, start showing working. When you show working, things will naturally, you know, turn around. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an amazing time with you all, and do have an amazing day.